it's a lifetime, and I have so many moments in my life where there were obstacles, and these obstacles for me were, they helped me to jump higher. And as you said, Blue, it's all about mindset. So that is the message. It's not that I was born in a perfect family with the perfect economic situation, with the perfect study. I mean, all my life it had been like, it is not perfect, but anyway, I can get where I want and what I want because I believe it. I mean, for me, there are not impossibles. If there is an impossible, it's just because I believe it's impossible. And then it's just about trying to look for the way of having what you would like to have in the way that you can.
How to believe the more no's you get, the closer you are to the yes. For Ana Mazzeo, her journey is living proof that the no's don't have to hold you back. It can be what propels you forward. Now serving as managing director of WOBI Italia and named Forbes Italy's top 100 successful women and Fortune Italy's top 50 most powerful women. She's heard no more times than she could count. Born in Argentina, Ana grew up with little, but her mother's bold decision to enroll her in an international school and the opportunity of an Italian passport became the trampoline that gave her the courage to chase her biggest dreams. Ana never waited for permission to lead. She simply stepped up and started leading. Even without the title, she embraced the responsibility, led with purpose, and proved that real leadership is earned long before it's given. If you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or stuck in the cycle of not yet, this episode will remind you that the no's are often just the beginning of your real story. Here on Navigating No. Ana, thank you so much. Every so often, you come across someone whose story doesn't just inspire you, but it wakes something up in you. And today, you're that kind of leader and you're that guest for us today. And Ana, you're a global force. You are the managing director of WOBI Italia, Fortune Italy's 50 most powerful women, Forbes Italy's 100 most powerful, successful women. You have done so much, and your resume is so long. And you shared something online, and it stopped me in my tracks because it didn't only inspire me, but it made me want to actually reach out to you because you were talking about rejection and how you've overcome no, and how the more no's you get, it means that you actually get closer to yes. And so today, bringing you on is such an honor, and I wanted to welcome you to Navigating No.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Blue, for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Well, you and I had connected online via LinkedIn before, and you had made a post, and it was a post with a giant caution sign with no. And it spoke to me because that's the whole idea of our podcast, about how normal people, everyday people, overcome rejection, failure, and self-doubt. And some people are high achievers and successful people, and some people are just like average people, but we all experience that. And your story is phenomenal, ever since you were a child to where you've become who you are today. And I would love for you to kind of share your story about growing up, being born in Argentina, and your success story of how you went from A to Z.
Well, that's a long story, but I will try to give you the information that it counts a little bit more. So, as I said, thank you so much for giving me this space to tell my story, because I'm doing this for a while now, because I think it could be inspiring. At least I want people to see at my story and say, if she was able to do it, I can also do it. That is the main purpose of telling my story, giving the example that even if you are not born, with all the conditions to be a successful person, you can build it. And that is what my story is about. So I was born in Argentina some years ago, and my mother was a teacher, my father was a teacher. I have a very nice life until my parents got divorced. So when they got divorced, also all our economics went broken because obviously we have to divide the family, and it was kind of hard. And so my mother raised us kind of alone. So she was alone with two kids, and she was working all day. And then she had an idea, and she decided that I should learn English, even if we were not, a rich family or a family that could afford an international school. She went to the international school and asked for a scholarship. And she said to the director, listen, I cannot pay this school, but I am a teacher. So if you give me this job, I could work for free and you can have my two kids studying here. So this director, that obviously she was amazing, she say, okay, yes, why not? And so I have like all my school time, like from 4 years old up to 18 years old. I went to this international school in Cordoba, and I was with a scholarship. And my mother
Hmm.
worked all her story in that school, so she was also my teacher. And that is a very nice story because she was a visionary. She not only did that, but the other thing she did was gave me the Italian passport, because I was Argentinian, but my grandfather was from Italy. So she said,
Hmm.
why not giving my daughter a passport that could open more doors, as an Italian, European, and that's what she did. So this was kind of the two important things that my mother did for me, even if she didn't have the education, the money or the ambitions to change my life for me to being a managing director in Europe one day. Her idea
Hmm.
maybe was that of saying, okay, I need to give her English because I know it's the language of the future, and that it's very, international language. And I will give her a passport that will open a lot of doors. So from there, my story began with a double life, because in school, I was a girl like other girls in my class, but I have very different power of, let's say, economic power. So I went to
Hmm.
school and I have that kind of conversation with my classmates about holidays, about the future, and they were talking about Miami and Cancun and traveling around the world. And then I went home and I was there trying to see how we get to the end of the month. What are we going to eat? We didn't have a phone. We didn't have TV. Our holidays were on the river, beside the river in a tent. I have so much contradictions in my actual life. So it was kind of a hard period for me because
With
now, yeah.
with your peers, like obviously you're going to a higher end school with a lot of rich kids and or people well off or who already have a platform, right? Maybe multiple, they might already speak multiple languages or they come from a well off family. And so you're going to school and th- I want to give kudos to your mom to realize the importance of languages and also the opening of the doors with a different passport. I wish that my kids had multiple passports as well, but languages are so important, and I love that your mom did that and how blessed that is. But you're in school and you're surrounded by kids who aren't like you because they have a different status and they're going on trips and they're going to Disneyland, for example, and you're going to the river. How did the other kids know that? Did you feel like you were picked on, or did you feel just you had questions when you went home and you asked your mom, why aren't we going to Disneyland?
Yeah, obviously they all knew about my situation because my mother was a teacher there, so teacher could not afford that kind of school. But then obviously
Mhm.
I was with a scholarship. It was kind of obvious. And then also because of our car. Our car was really like destroyed. Like I always say to my mom, Mom, please leave me in the angle. Don't leave me in front of the school. And she said,
Um,
no, no, Anna, I will leave you in the front of the door, our car, because I'm very proud of what we have. So it was like, oh my God, no, everybody's going to see myself going, down from that car, that we don't have air conditioning. Then if we have an accident, the door forever stay in another color. So it was kind of, now obviously now I laugh, but imagine,
yeah.
14 years old, like I wanted to be the cool girl. I wanted to have the best clothes. And all my life was so superficial, but that what it was
Mhm.
when I was that age. I always thought about going to trips and going dancing and having the best dress and going to the hairdresser. And there was a lot of things that I couldn't do because my mother couldn't afford it, you know. So for
Mhm.
all they all know, but I have to say that I was very lucky because my classmate loved me for who I was. Like my personality, maybe because I always believed that what my mother said, that it doesn't matter what you have, it matters who you are. So I worked a lot in my personality. I was kind of a leader, and I always tried to say, okay, I will be a cool girl even if I don't have the things that others have. I can be nice, I can be funny, I can be a leader, I can say what I think. And then I think I was lucky with the group of people in my class. Obviously, I have some episodes when I was discriminated, some kind of, I'm sure most of the things I didn't notice because maybe I was very, I was happy. Even if things were hard, I was a happy girl. But well, obviously, it was not that easy. I asked a lot of questions. I came home and I say, sorry, why they have that and I don't have that? And then obviously I start feeling envy, and I
Mhm.
have to, and jealous. And I was all the time feeling these kind of things that, it was like a taboo. Nobody wants to talk about envy. Yeah, I mean, it's very
Mhm.
difficult to admit you envy your friends or that you're jealous because they have more what you have. But I start in a very young age to feel these feelings that were for me
Mhm.
horrible. But at the end, I start asking, all these bad feelings inside of me, they convert in a very unstoppable strength.
Mhm.
So instead of saying, okay, I was feeling all this, but I didn't say, oh, why they, I stayed for a while. And my parents tried to change the school. So I went off of this school to a public one for 4 months, and I was not able to support it. I wanted to go back to the international school. And so I went back to this environment. So it was
Mhm.
something that it was not easy to handle, but it was the place where I should be. I don't know how to explain this,
Mhm.
but maybe it was
Mhm.
life, destiny. It was, I wanted to push myself um, higher. I didn't want to be with
Mhm.
people that was like me. I wanted to be with people that were have other possibilities because I saw them like an
That you
example.
aspired
Yes,
people
I
that you
was.
aspired to be like. Yeah,
Yeah, yes,
because
and then I
you
saw.
wanted to grow.
I wanted more. And then obviously I went to their houses and I spoke with their parents. And the mother was maybe a lawyer of success, and the father was, a businessman. So I was very curious about that life. And I really feel I could change my story. So that is where all this situation that it could be also hard, because I would not say it was, oh, that was easy. I always feel unfulfilled. It was always never enough, like
Mhm.
never enough. And there is a feeling that today I still feel inside of me, but now that I am an adult, I'm trying to handle it in the right way and try to say, Anna, for you, this will never be enough. So just make peace with that and use this feeling to get higher, but having fun, and knowing
Mhm.
that for me, the ceiling, the universe is the limit. I don't have limit. So for me, never, I will never feel easy enough.
Mhm. Well, you're like a shark who continuously swims. You're always growing, and you always want to learn more and
Yes.
grow. And because the moment that we stop is the moment that we become mediocre, or we just give up. I want to go back to you introducing yourself to your friend's parents who you saw as a mentor or someone that you aspired to be like. And I think that that's something that kids don't know how to do now. They don't know how to ask for help, or they don't know how to ask someone, how did you get to be who you are? How did you buy this house? How did you invest your money? where did you go to school? What jobs did you do in order to become the number one lawyer? What did you do to become the managing director of WOBI? Just one day you didn't wake up and I'm the managing director of WOBI Italia, right? There was a
Yeah.
long journey. And so kids don't know how to ask the right questions, or they aren't given the opportunity to be put into a place where they can confidently interact with an adult. And I think that was another big stepping stone for you, is you had the opportunity to be in front of people who you wanted to be like, but then you also asked questions. You were curious. You mentioned it. I was curious, and most kids maybe aren't curious. And I love that you said that, Anna.
But also, Blue, maybe they are curious, but they don't feel they have the right to ask. Because sometimes at home, we said to our kids, because I said so, stop asking. Don't be so demanding. Don't ask me 100 times the same things, But I never receive a no as an answer. Like, I don't care. If I have a doubt, I ask. I'm a very curious person. And
Hmm.
I think that is something that helped me a lot in life. Because if we learn from others that already did what we would like to have or who we would like to be, it will be easier. So why I have to start from zero if somebody already made that experience and is willing to share it?
Hmm.
Because everybody like when they are in a in a position of success to be asked how you get there, because for sure there have been a dream, a lot of work, and so many obstacles. So obviously, I'm also happy to tell you how I got here, because it was not easy. It was not in a day. It was a life. It was a construction of a life and changing my destiny. I could go to the public school in Cordoba, and today I will not be here talking with you. I will be happy, maybe yes, maybe no, but I will not be myself. So I will never change anything from my past life, even if I suffer a lot when I was a kid. But that suffer gave me the strength, the hunger, the passion, this kind of, I'm still getting surprised of things that I have been living maybe for the last 5 years. I go to a
Hmm.
five-star hotel and I'm like, wow. And I go to a friend's house and it's beautiful. And I say, my God, this is so beautiful. I still have this kind of kid,
Yeah.
surprise about life and surprise about how things could be so beautiful, even in nature, but also with material things. And I'm not ashamed about loving
Uh-huh.
material things, because a house is something that is material, or having money. It could be, oh my God, you are ambitious, but in a negative way. But for me, having or reaching or trying to have any year, every year, a little bit more of money, for me is freedom, because I have my family in Argentina, because my mom still doesn't have a very high, now she's very old, so she's in Argentina, and she have to travel to Italy, and I have to pay for everything. So for me, money is freedom. So it depends how you see money. It could be something bad or it could be something good. For me, something good.
Well, and that's your perspective change. That's your mindset shift, because you had mentioned that you took this, you were envious, you were jealous, which is a negative feeling. And instead of being the victim and being mad and angry at potential friends or your peers, you use that as the fuel to inspire yourself to become more or to learn more. Because I can't be mad at someone who has something that I want, because they didn't get that thing because they want to make me feel bad. They got it because it made them feel good, right? And so I just have to ask, how did you get that? Because I'm interested. Like, I would love that too. And I think it makes us feel appreciate or grateful for the things that we have. And so you mentioned that, like, having a nice home. I'm grateful for having a dream home. I'm grateful for having two amazing little kids that I can give more to, because I have sacrificed along my life's journey. And I'm so appreciative of that. And even if it's materialistic, it's like the freedom of being able to give more to my kids than I had, or to be able to share that with people that I meet or I come a connection with. Like, I can meet someone and say, you want to become a motivational speaker? This is how I did it. And I love when a child asks me that, like, how do you get over the fear of talking in public? Well, let me tell you, this is what you should do. Because it's so, to know that I make a difference in this world is just as rewarding as if I'm the managing director of WOBI, right? It's like, it's a gratefulness feeling.
Absolutely. And then obviously, it's a lifetime, and I have so many moments in my life where there were obstacles, and these obstacles for me were, they helped me to jump higher. And as you said, Blue, it's all about mindset. So that is the message. It's not that I was born in a perfect family with the perfect economic situation, with the perfect study. I mean, all my life it had been like, it is not perfect, but anyway, I can get where I want and what I want because I believe it. I mean, for me, there are not impossibles. If there is an impossible, it's just because I believe it's impossible. And then it's just about trying to look for the way of having what you would like to have in the way that you can. I just make you an example.
Mhm.
I was sick. I was sick of for 20 years coming to my work with the tram. The tram is el tranvía, that is this, it only, I think it exists in Portugal and some cities also in the US, but in Milan, is like the underworld, okay? I said,
Mhm.
I'm sick about it because maybe I wait for it 17, 15 minutes, then I have 45 minutes to get to the office, and I knew that coming by car was 15 minutes, okay?
Mhm.
So it was 1 hour. I said, I have to change this. How can I do it? Having a personal driver in Milan, impossible. Impossible. I mean, it's a cost that I could not afford it, but I don't think anybody here have a private, chauffeur. And
Sure.
so I said, okay, going by my car, the big one, I have to pay a lot, then you have the parking. And then I looked for a way of solving this, and I found a small electric car that is only you can move in the city. It's very small and it's amazing. And I changed my life, Blue, because last year in July, I bought this
Uh-huh.
small car and I don't come anymore to the office in in the subway or in the tram. I come by my small electric car. It's so funny. The car is just very cheap. You can
Mhm.
plug it like whatever, and in 4 hours full, and you can use it the whole week. It's small. You don't have air conditioning. You don't have anything, but it takes you from door to door in 15 minutes. It changed my life. So what is the message about this? Is always try to understand that you can change the situation that you don't like of your personal life, even if it is not the ideal way you would do it. Be creative. Change what you don't like about your life. And this is the motto of my life, because I could stay there, be there like today. I could be there having my house and my car and my job, and maybe I would get married and I would be somebody because I know who I am, and I would do my career also in Cordoba. But I got to know the world, the best people around the world. I have been traveling. I was a curious person, and curiosity took me where I am now. So what I mean about the car is all the time people is accepting what they don't like of their own life. They don't change it because I
Mhm.
can't. The first answer, I can't. No, I will never have a private driver. I cannot change that. But then, if you're creative, if you understand, if you can do that next step, maybe you will change your whole life, because this 1 hour more in my personal life now is so much for me. It means so much.
Mhm.
And it was a situation that I have to stop a little bit and say, I can. How can I do that? And I change it. This is only a small example, Blue, but I think it really is an example of something concrete, because I'm a very concrete person. When people ask me
Yeah.
concrete examples, I talked about things that I think that change the whole picture. Even if it's in something small, it could change the rest of your journey.
Or and that could be a person that you meet. You never know when or where you might meet someone who can be your
Absolutely.
mentor or a teacher or get you that job you really want or provide something for you. Like your mom went to the director and opened up the doors for you for an international school, which allowed you to learn English. You having, and it doesn't have to be a person, it could be a specific thing like you talk about concrete. Learning English is a
Well,
concrete
exactly.
skill that opens so many doors. Having an Italian passport opened up. You being able to come to the United States and study and being introduced there. You being able to walk into the doors of a friend with parents who were open to welcoming you in. You have all of these choices that you're given, and but you take advantage of them. And you had mentioned that it's when you're challenged by something or an obstacle or a barrier, it's like how you react to it and how you bounce back. And earlier we had discussed before a discovery call, you had mentioned a trampoline. These challenges are like a trampoline that can catapult you the trajectory of your life way farther, even if they're this small little bounce. And I would love, when did you come up with that idea? When did that analogy come of looking at life's challenges as more of a trampoline to get even higher, even if it's a small little thing?
I think I have been doing that always, like since I was a kid, but I started understanding the meaning like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when I got this role of managing director, that again, it was not something that somebody came from, I don't know, from the from the sky and gave me this role. It was something that
Mhm.
I asked for it. I asked during 6 years, and the answer was no. And this is the funny thing: I never give up. So
Uh-huh.
this is always very important. And there I start understanding that now I was more than ready to be the managing director. I was ready before. I trust about my skills and my 20 years career. But now that I got rejected so many times, I knew how bad I want this, and now it was my opportunity to do it the way I always wanted to do it, but even better, because I will never lose the opportunity. Now that I have been rejected for 6 years, finally I have this role. Now I have to, to work hard, to do whatever I want with it and grow and make people grow. So this was the way that I saw this rejection, this no, this situation. Obviously, when I got the no, I cried. I mean, I was sad because I really think I deserve it. I went there
Sure.
and I said, listen, I think I'm ready for this role. I would love to be, the country manager, the managing director in Italy. I have been in the company for so many years. And the answer was no. So I went out of that meeting saying, okay, in or out? I stay in the company or I leave. That was for me, the end of this kind of path. And then I said, I love WOBI. I love what I have been doing for the last 18 years. I will start, you know, doing things as a managing director without having the role assigned, but feeling I am what I would like to become. So I started
Yes.
being more generous with my colleagues. I started to help others as a leader should do. And I started learning to be a managing director without being a managing director, because now I didn't see only my results, my sales, my money. I was more in the whole picture of the company, and I was feeling
Mhm.
part of the management team, even if nobody gave me that role. And after 6 months, they gave me that role. So I
But
think
you
it's
didn't
kind
you
of
didn't give up.
mindset.
Well, yes, and you're not alone. You're not alone because when somebody goes for a promotion and they don't get it, or they go, they ask for a raise, or they try to get a job, or they try to get into college and they get denied from that college, a lot of people do quit. They're like, well, okay, it's not meant for me. And you mentioned this that your mantra, your personal mantra is never, never, never give up. Right. And it's like you have to keep moving forward. And what you did is when you were rejected for those 6 years, you kept learning and you took that no and you decided, what am I going to do to be better? what am I going to do to not only best myself, but best the company? Because you didn't take it personally, even though it hurt, and even though you cried, and even though it was emotionally draining, you had the choice. Do I quit? Am I in or am I out? And you decided to stay in. And because you stayed in, because you grew, because you made it more about the company, not just yourself, people started to realize like you are that leader, you are that managing director, and you're doing exactly what you would be doing if you had that title.
Yes, it was an amazing experience, and then when I tell about these stories, kind of, it seems, not true, but it was exactly like that. It was a decision. Like, if I decide that I'm going to do this, I have to learn. I have to feel fine. I have to be happy. The same, we go back to that car. If I decide I'm not going to look for an option, I have to be happy in the subway. I have to read a book. I have to do a course. I have to listen to a podcast. It have to be something that give me something. If I decide not to be there anymore, I have to look for an alternative. So this was the same thing. I was in. If I was in, I will try to not take it personally, not saying, okay, they hate me. I knew how good I was. I knew that I loved this job, and I would do all the things to get to that position that I knew it was coming. It was not the moment, but it was there. I knew it. And I would not quit now after so many years. So I said, okay, I give it another chance, another year, but now I will not be waiting. I will act like I am a managing director. Even if nobody gave me the money I deserve for being the managing director and the responsibilities. But I will be generous. I will be a leader. I would lead with example. Everybody will understand that they can count on me, and that I'm not here to see, this is mine, this is yours, but to see, listen, let's work together. Let's change everything here, and let's do the numbers that we need to do. So it was a change in myself because I could not change externally what was happening. The only thing I could change was the way I was facing the situation.
Well, and I love that because let's switch gears very quickly and go to your languages, because you didn't speak Italian when you moved to Milan, and even though maybe you have a certain understanding, it takes so much effort to learn a foreign language and to become bilingual or multilingual, and it you could just live within, oh, I'm only going to speak Spanish, or I'm only going to, now I'm introduced to English because my mom helped me, but it was, you also became absolutely fluent in Italian, and it has opened up that many more doors for you. But that's difficult. And most of us want to say, oh, that's enough, I'm okay. But you wanted to continue to grow, and it opened up those doors for you. Learning languages, was that something as a child that you were going, that maybe helped you not take things personally and see that I need to not take a no and I need to keep moving forward? If anybody is to blame for not understanding that conversation or that contract or that sales negotiation, I lost that sales negotiation because I didn't speak that language. I didn't understand that terminology. It's my fault. And so you didn't do that. You took these languages. Is that something that set you up for success?
I think yes, because it was a mentality. I was the only one speaking in English in my family. I was the only one curious about what was happening in the world. I was up, always looking up, always looking what was happening and feeling. For example, one of my favorite places was the airport in Cordoba. I always went there and I felt home, and I said I wanted to be a hostess. I wanted to work for an airline, but I was too short, so I didn't I didn't get that work. But because I love to travel. I love to know people from different countries. So as if I didn't speak English, it would be difficult because only Spanish. I mean, yes, I can speak with a lot of people around the world, but 20, 30 years ago, when I was a child, English was the only way to communicate in an international basis. And then I felt important. I felt I was going out from my family situation because I learned English. I spoke English. We're not talking about in, I don't know, in some countries that maybe it's normal to speak English. In Cordoba, not everybody spoke English. Only people that have the money to pay an international school, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt I was I was growing, and I was part of the group of people I was hanging out, because parents sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
they were all from Argentina, because it was international just for English. There were not a lot of people coming from abroad, but they all speak English. They have businesses outside of Argentina. So I felt I fit in, and that
Mm-hmm.
gave me for sure success, power, and then it changed my life forever. Because if I didn't speak English, I would not be traveling around the world. Having then even today in Italy, my English is very very important. Like today, I'm sitting in the management, in the global management table, at WOBI, and I'm so proud that I speak English. And it's something that I have thanks to my mom decision. Because maybe
Mm-hmm.
then I would study, as I studied Italian when I started living here at 25 years old. But it's not the same when you learn it when you're a kid. So when I
You're a
arrived
sponge.
here, yeah, exactly. So I
Mm-hmm.
started learning at 25 Italian. It was hard. Even if sometimes Italian and Spanish are similar, my God, they are not. I mean, Italian is very complicated. So today
Yeah.
I don't speak perfect any language, but I can speak
Uh-huh.
with people of so many countries, and I can express myself in Italian, in English, and in Spanish in a good way. Everybody understand me. So I always say I'm not a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a doer. So if I have to send a message and you understand it, even if I make a mistake with verbs, with whatever, you understand me. You understood me. So that's it for me. And that is the attitude also in life. And when we were talking about kids that don't ask or don't feel they have the right to ask, I was a kid, just I didn't care about what people think about me. Like then if
Mm-hmm.
somebody told me you are, I don't know, heavy, you ask so many questions, I was feeling bad, okay? It was not that I didn't care. But I did
Sure.
it. I jump and I didn't speak very well Italian, and I did all my calls in Italian, and what half of them were in Spanish really. But it was
Mm-hmm.
I sound so secure, so like because that people understood it. And then I laughed a lot today because I knew I didn't know Italian, but my calls were in Italian. So jumping, taking risk, being courageous is one of the characteristics that change every day in my life, because I always jump. If I am in a doubt, I do it. And then we will see how, and and if it was a mistake, I don't care. For me, it's never going back. It's always learning.
Well, and you don't know where you're going to land after your bounce.
Exactly.
And if you don't take that chance, you're never going to get ahead of everybody else. Did you see the movie Love Actually?
Yeah, but I don't remember it very well.
There's this scene where a man falls in love with a Portuguese woman, and he has to learn Portuguese, and she's learning English at the same time, and his Portuguese is awful, but you understand enough, and it's about that communication, and it's like you have enough to be accepted and like you belong, and that you can have a seat at the table. And the last thing I want to hit with you really quickly is that not only was language difficult, but you're a woman who is coming up in a man's world. And is your journey, did that give you the ability to not take things personally, and as that inspiration to be able to sit at the table and feel like you belonged? And like what was that like to overcome the challenge of being the woman in the at the table? And did you ever have any doubts about that, or you were like, I don't have to prove myself? Or what did that feel like?
I didn't understand it before, okay? Like when I was, I don't know, 26, 27 years old, and I was left apart, you don't come to this meeting. Oh, that client, I handle it. I think it happened a lot. Sometimes I went to a meeting and they say, where is your boss? Because I was young and I was in the table with a CEO of a company. And then you have to understand that Italy is kind of traditional market, with traditional men in these big tables, and you cannot say, you have to treat them with respect. There is another way of saying you in Italian. You have the formal way and the informal way. So I didn't get it the first year. Obviously, it was kind of borderline when I arrived to a meeting, and I was, very professional. And they said, where's your boss? And I was like, what do you mean? Yes, I would love to speak with you, but also with your boss. I mean, like, I was not enough for that kind of meetings where we talked about sponsorships and, package, etc. So growing now, and that last years, I have to say, and now being a mom of two girls, I noticed a lot of things that happened in the past that I can tell you, Blue, that I think men were afraid of me. But I thought I was not enough. I thought I was weak. I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was really too much ambitious, that I was aggressive, that I was insisting so much. And now I said, why? I mean, I was just asking for what I think it was for me. I was just trying to help the
Mm-hmm.
company. I was just trying to make my path. So I don't think I was that ambitious, that aggressive, that difficult personality, like a lot of women, we are called difficult personality because we discuss things. And I'm very proud
Mm-hmm.
of not saying yes. I'm not a yes woman, and I don't like neither the yes man. Okay. And so I was not that. And I think that was took me here today. And then I wrote another post that I don't know if you read, but it was all about asking, not being there, sitting down, waiting for somebody to recognize that you are valued or to recognize you, I don't know, a medal. I'm not waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to build it now. I'm not going to
You're
wait
being
until other
proactive.
20 years so somebody come and say, "Oh, Anna, you are a good manager." I know I'm a good manager. I want more. So what is next? I want to be sitting in that table. I would like to do this. Then maybe it's a no. I mean, I'm not going to discuss everything, but I will ask for it. And then
Mm-hmm.
I will ask for it again. And then again. So that is the spirit, and that is the spirit in a man world and also in a woman world. I mean, is the basis. Then it's true that it have not been easy. I think everything would be different if I would be a boy, okay, a
Mm-hmm.
man. But even though I think that I was so lucky to be a woman, because being maybe rejected or listening to so many no's that I don't think I deserve it in the past make me more strong. So I am happy today to be a strong woman in a table with a lot of men. In some pictures or in events, I go to dinners of networking. We are two or three with 30 men today. But I'm so happy to be there representing the woman and being there also giving a message. My message is showing up. My message is no giving up. My message is I know it's hard. It will be easier maybe to be at home and to just take care of the kids, or not. That will be worth it for sure. And I'm here,
Sure.
I will never be at home with the kids. I really admire a man that stay at home just raising kids, because that is a very, very hard work. Okay. And nobody
Mm-hmm.
recognize it. But anyway, parentheses. I'm very happy and I'm very proud to be a woman that would like, in a small way, maybe to change some rules of this men's world.
Well, and I think you're doing that because you have armor or you have thick skin because of all of your experiences and all the rejections and the no's and the people judging you for being poor or not speaking their language or not having the education or having the status. And it's just made you a stronger person. And I know that you're doing a difference in this world because you can share that with your two daughters. Right, you can share that with your teams and with your employees and with everyone from the stage that you speak to. You do that when you meet world leaders, and like you have had the opportunity to meet some of the heads of states that are just powerful people, and you belong there. You belong there because your message and your stories and your experience has value, and you believe in yourself now. But it's because of all of these trampoline jumps that you've taken and the fear. You've taken fear and attacked it head on, and you've taken that as a challenge to grow. And I know that you're making a difference in this world, and I know that you're going to do that with your daughter. So I'm so honored that you jumped on this podcast with me. And if I was to finish with a question for you, I would want it to be one of two things. One, what's a no that you received that you were glad that you got? And then what is one thing that you would tell your past self or you would tell your two daughters?
So the no that I received that now I am glad, but I was not happy, was the one I told you about when I asked to be the managing director, and I got this big no. Now I say thank you because I know I have to start from zero again after that no, and I was able to do it. So that made me believe in myself more. That made me believe that even if no comes and hurt, I can continue to go ahead with what I wanted without receiving the no, but changing my mindset. So I learned, and I learned to love myself even more. So this is something very important. And then if I would go back to my small self, to my little self, I would tell Anna to be patient, that everything is going to happen. Keep pushing, be yourself. Don't listen those no as something negative, but as a trampoline. And for sure, think less that is personal, what happened, and start thinking that you are lucky because in your future, all those situations that were hard, that you didn't understand, all those questions, all those feeling less than others, will be your maximum strength and are going to be the key that open all the doors for your future, the future of your daughters, and the future of so many people that will meet you in that road.
Well, I love that. And I love that you had mentioned that you start at zero. And whether that was your getting into a school where you didn't know anybody and you didn't feel like you belonged right away, you started at zero. Learning languages, if you don't speak Italian, you have to start at zero. If you get a job, you have to learn. And everyone, and if you go bankrupt, you start at zero. If you move to a foreign country and you don't know the people, the language, you're starting at zero. If you lose a career and you get, you're a baseball player and you're a major league baseball player and you lose your job and now you can't play baseball anymore, you start from zero. Everybody starts from zero. But one of the overall themes is believing in yourself that you had mentioned. And then the other thing is find people that are on the path that you want to go to and ask them for help and be curious and continuously grow and understand that those rejections are coming, but just to learn to bounce back like a trampoline. And I love your message today, Ana, and I love that you were open and sharing, and you have so much value. And I'm so honored that you're here and that you've befriended me, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
That would be great. And I would like to give you the last quote that we talked about. The more no's you receive, the more near you are to get the yes. Because you cannot get the yes if you don't receive the no's, because that are the only proof that you are getting near. Nobody have a yes in the first try. Maybe somebody, but it's not that common. We always receive no's, so the no's have to be also celebrated because they mean that you are getting closer to that yes that you're looking for.
Wow. If you had a mic right now, I would ask you to drop it because that was perfect. Ana, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for connecting with me. And thank you because I took a chance of asking you to come on my podcast. And all it took was me asking you. And you were so giving with your time and making this work. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate the difference that you're making in this world. And thank you. And I look forward to seeing your successes continue to grow.
Thank you so much, Blue. Thank you.
Grazie. Thank you so much for listening to Navigating No. If this episode brings you value or you know someone who could benefit from it, the best way to support the show is by sharing and subscribing. It's completely free and helps us reach more people. And if you have any questions, feedback, or guests you'd like me to interview, drop a comment while you're there. I'd love to hear from you. And most importantly, thank you for tuning in. And let's continue sharing optimism and positivity.